In today's step-by-step Procreate tutorial, I'm gonna show you how to draw this cute cartoon city using my custom brushes. You can get them free of charge on the link in the video description before we begin. If you like this style, you can also find my cartoon landscape and cartoon world drawing tutorials here on YouTube. Now without further ado, let's grab our pencils and get started. I've gone ahead and created a blank vertical canvas that has the dimensions of 2000 by 2500 pixels. To draw this cute cartoon city, I've prepared a mix of my custom brushes that you can download along with the color palette on the link in the video description. These files are free. The brushes include items from my premium sets such as Easy Paint, Urban, Paper Pack, and more. You can also find them in my mega bundle of more than 600 brushes on Gumroad. And if you'd like to learn how to use them in the best way, you can check video tutorials on my Patreon. All links are in the video description as well. With that being said, let's begin drawing. In the beginning, it would be nice to change the background color. Let's tap on it and select color 1. Then pick grungy paintbrush and switch to color number 2. I will lower the brush size a little and start making horizontal strokes on top. If you ever look at the sky, it always looks darker on top and gets lighter closer to the horizon. Now we just need to smudge it at the lower side using the same brush. I lowered the opacity a little, and we need to make horizontal strokes like this. Stretch it slightly down. Alright, after we did this, we can create another layer above and start drawing the buildings. I'll select color number 7 and this liner brush. The size can be set to around 10%, and I will start from the left. Let's make it not very high. Just draw horizontally and then down without using Quick Shape tool. Then we can fill it, adjust color drop threshold, and select color 17. Let's make this one a little bit higher. First making vertical strokes, then connecting it, and dragging the color here too. Let's add a roof here, using color number 10. To add some cuteness. It can look like this. We also need to connect it and fill. Let's go further and draw the next one. Here we can select color 16, that is slightly darker. Generally, these buildings will be darker because they are less exposed to the sunlight. We can make it small like this, approximately half of the size of the previous building. Let's also fill it and add a roof here too, with color number 9. First let's draw horizontally, go a little outside, then go up like this, connect it, and we need to fill it as well. Don't forget to adjust color drop threshold and fix the gaps. We can place 2 more buildings here, let it be color number 10. Let's make this one small, just a rectangle. Then fill it. And on the right side, we can use color number 7 again. Just go up like this. Let's draw a horizontal line. And fill the shape too. To add details on these buildings, let's create a new layer above and clip it. Select color number 8 and start working on this building on the right. Let's increase the size to 24% and make a few horizontal strokes on top of the roof. Keep some tiny gaps between the lines. Now we can draw the windows. Let's start with color number 9. Lower the size to 10% And first draw a vertical line like this. Then add another one parallel to it. Draw an arc on top to connect, and at the bottom it can be a line. It can go a little lower, and then we can drag the color. Now let's draw a similar shape on the right side. This time I will start with a horizontal line. Draw two vertical lines like this, and then an arc on top. Let's also fill this one, and after that draw a horizontal line between these two. It looks like smiling face, I think. Now let's add two vertical lines, then an arc, and color the shape too. After that we can add frames. Using color number 10. Let's lower the size to 8%. Draw on the left side, then in the middle, after that at the bottom, and somewhere here. Now I will repeat the same steps on these two windows. Let's select this dark blue color again and add some decorative elements on top, like these two short lines, then another arc above, and connect it at the lower side. Let's now fill this one. Don't forget to adjust color drop threshold if needed. There is another line on the right for the shadow, and with a smaller size, we can add a couple more elements underneath. I will continue and add the same on these two windows. A vertical line, a couple horizontal ones, and the last shape here. Let's fill it. Then I will draw this way. And the last line on the right. I forgot to draw a horizontal line inside the frame, so let me do it now. And if you'd like to adjust the shapes, you can select them first. Use transformation in any way. Can switch to freeform. And after that we need to sharpen it, because it got a little bit blurry after transformation. That's it. Let's go to the next building, and here select color number 15. The size can be at around 4%, and I will just add two horizontal lines on top. After that we can switch to some yellowish color, like number 11. The size can be at 8%, and we need to draw horizontally like this, on top first, and then at the bottom. With the same color, we can draw windows inside. This time I will first draw in the center, so we can keep it a little bit symmetrical. Let's now outline two more on the sides. The third one. Alright. Let's change the color again to number 12 and just drag it inside the frames. I will click Continue Filling and tap on these two. Then tap on the brush again, so we can continue drawing. The color number 15 is selected, and the size needs to be low. like 2%. Let's add this pattern for the shutters, inside each frame. It will have a few vertical lines, and then horizontal ones. They don't have to have a perfect angle. Just draw them with a free hand. Let me repeat it inside this shape. I'll continue drawing horizontal lines, and maybe add some shorter ones that'll go vertically on the left. Just try to avoid perfection. This way it'll look cute and more like cartoon. Let's finish this one on the right. Draw it exactly in the same way. I'll do it faster. And now they're done. We can apply some shadows. So let's grab the color right from here, from the window. Increase it to like 3%. Draw under this line first. Then also at the lower one. And on the right side of each frame. Just make these vertical lines. Okay, let's now go to the next one and make windows similar to the first building. We can keep using the same color. First draw vertically, then I will make an arc here, and then go down. But don't make straight lines. Just add a tiny angle. This way it'll look better. Let me draw one more here. Also fill it. And if you'd like to adjust only one of the windows, you also need first to select it. I will use distortion here. Then outline it to apply sharpen. After transformation. Alright, now that we have these two shapes, let's pick this coral color from the neighboring building, increase the size to 5%, and add these frames. I think I will increase the size to 8%. It'll look better this way. Let's combine vertical and horizontal lines, like this. And after that, we can draw a few windows right under the roof. Let's use the same color from the window and draw a rectangle. Let's connect it and then drag the color. Now we can add another one above this window. Also connecting it, then dragging the color, and after that we can select this coral color again for the frame. Here we can just outline it all. But don't draw right under the roof, only at the bottom. Let's add a vertical line inside each window, like this. Now let's switch to color number 13 to draw shutters on the sides. We can lower the size to 4% here. Let me fill the shape. Here we need to place two, so I will make it a little narrow, then also fill it. Maybe we can even move this window a little to the right, just to have more space. Alright, let's continue drawing these rectangles. On the left side, and the last one on the right. This way. We need to fill this one too. Now let's add another layer above. Grab coral color again. Lower the size to 2%. And just draw horizontal lines quickly inside each rectangle. The last one. And since they look too light, we can lower the opacity. Let's set it around 52% and adjust the colors a little. Let's set hue to 53% and lower the brightness just a little bit. Now we will get this, which looks quite nice. On the roof we can draw some cute pattern. Let's grab color 16 from the palette. Now we can merge these two layers and continue drawing here. Just set the size at 3%. I will make these cute curves for the roof tiles. Go all the way to the right. Let's now draw another one, somewhere in the middle. And then one more, approximately at the same distance. It looks very cute, I think. To be able to adjust the color, since we have everything on one layer, we first need to select it, like this. Let's now go to Hue Saturation Brightness, increase saturation to 84%, and then lower the brightness. I'll set it to 46%. We will get this brownish orange color. Now let's select it again and click Copy and Paste. Drag this color down and place it between the two layers. Let's now set it to multiply and alpha lock the layer to recolor it. We can pick the color right from the roof, open the layer and click Fill Layer in the menu. Now we just need to drag it diagonally to reveal the shadow. I will remove snapping that I used. And now we just need to lower the opacity to 50%, so it is not so dark. Let's merge these two layers. I just don't want to keep too many. Let's now grab color number 13. We can add a layer above all layers. Set the size to 8% and draw horizontally at the bottom of the roof. Now let's make it darker and increase saturation. We will get this nice color. Now we can just pick it and add a water pipe. Let it go down like this. So we have one more building that is ready. Let's work on the next one. So I will select color number 5. Increase the size to like 15% or maybe even bigger. So we can do it with one stroke like this. Let's add another horizontal line at the bottom. After that, lower the size to 12% and draw window frames. Let's keep some space on top. Here comes the first rectangle. Now we can draw another one on the right side, this way, and do the same at the lower floor. I will first draw parallel lines like this. They can have different size. And under the roof, we can add a shape this way, without upper border. Just add another line for the frame in the middle, and then draw the same on the right, like this. Let's now grab the color number 12 and drag it inside the frames. Let's click Continue Filling and tap inside the rectangles. except this. We can merge these two layers, then create another one between these two, and just draw behind the frame. Very easy. You can use a razor to fix it if it goes outside. Now we can also merge these two layers and continue working. Let's finally select this layer from the roof on the side. The size can be at 10%. And we can draw horizontally at the lower side of the roof like this, to add thickness to it, and also the shadow. Now we need to lower the size. I set it to 4%, so we can draw the lines that will go parallel to the right side of the roof. Of course, it can go in the opposite direction. It doesn't matter. After we did this, we can pick this dark color from the opposite building, create a new layer that is not clipped, so we can draw this way. Let it go vertically between these two windows. Then we can add another horizontal line. We'll get something like this. We can grab this dark brown color to add shadows. Let's go to the previous layer, increase the size to 7%, and draw under these yellowish lines. Just like this. It can get wider at some parts. And then we also need to draw on the right side of the window frames. We can now select color 15 to draw shutters inside these rectangles. The technique is absolutely the same that we already used. So I will also speed up this part, and you can do it on your own. Just don't make perfect angles. And try not to use Quick Shape tool. Also try not to intersect the frames, so the drawing looks clean. Let's do it in this window. Go down, and then the last one. Maybe it is a shop or just a house where people wanted to take a nap, so they closed the shutters. I just wanted to get some diversity. Alright. Now this is also done. We can switch to the last building on the left. Use color number 8 first. Set the size to 7%. And draw horizontally on top. Let's now draw another line under this one. Lower the size to 3%. And add one more. Then it can go down. I'll make the size bigger. We need to connect it. Let's drag the color inside this rectangle. And next draw the windows. Let's use this purple again. And draw 3 rectangles. We can start here in the middle. Just connect them. Let me fill it right away. And then we can draw 2 more on the sides. Let me draw on the left side. And then add a few more at the bottom. under the previous row of windows. Now we can fill them one by one. Click Continue Filling and just tap. That's it. Let's add the frames with this coral color. Here the size can be set to around 11%. And we just need to outline these rectangles all around. Also these three. And then I will connect them with horizontal lines. The last one. Then I will select this blue color again, so we can add some details above. This time they can look like rectangles. Let's draw them one by one. Here. Then one more at the lower row. In the middle. And on the right. We just need to fill them all. Let's adjust color drop threshold, then click Continue Filling and tap. Here I will fix it quickly. Then lower the size and draw on the right side. We can add a line at the bottom as well. As you see, I'm keeping the same direction of the light, so all the shadows will be on the right side. Like this. Just a few more vertical lines. Now we can grab a eraser that is set to liner brush and finish the pattern on the roof, just by erasing a few rectangles inside this dark big part. Let's first outline them. They can match with the dimensions of the windows. Now let's remove the part inside. I increase the brush size here to make it faster. Let's delete in this one. Maybe they're too big. So I will switch back to brush and make a couple adjustments. We can make the corners a bit rounded. It'll look better this way. Let me also make a horizontal strokes. And now I like this one. Let's create one more layer. Set it to multiply mode, so we can add some shadows. I picked the color from the window. Now we can lower the brush size and start drawing an arc on top of the window. Let's make it wider in the middle. Then go to the layer and lower its opacity to 50%. It'll get more transparent. Now we can continue drawing these lines inside the window frame, on the right side of the lines, and also at the bottom of the horizontal line. Let's repeat exactly same steps on these two windows. Let's do it on the last one. I'll make it big like this. Draw vertical lines. And finish horizontal ones. We got these nice shadows. Let's keep this building and work on the next one. We can apply this shadow on top first, and then draw vertical lines on the right side, also at the bottom. The first shadow is ready. Let's do the same on this one. First making an arc like this. Let me paint it manually. And then add the lines. Vertical and horizontal. These two windows are now ready. Let's draw inside these frames. Just on the right. Let's skip to the next one. Here we can select the color from the glass. And it will get darker due to the blending mode that we set on the layer. Let's do the same on this one. Just make a vertical line and do the same inside each rectangle. Again, the shadows are on the right. I'll make the size smaller and add horizontal lines. It can work for mosquito net. Now we can select this dark color from the shadow, go to the layer where we have all the windows, and add more shadows under the shutters, also around the frame. Under it, and it will also go on the right. This is done now. We can add some extra shadows. So let's go back to this layer number 2, create another one above it, and set it to multiply mode. Let's set this layer number 2 as reference, then go to the new one, pick this color, and gouache paint brush. Lower the opacity a little, adjust the size, and to be able to draw only inside the blue shape, we need to go to Selection, Use Automatic, and tap on it. If it didn't select properly, you may need to slide to the sides and adjust selection threshold. Then tap on the brush and applying very low pressure on it, start adding the texture. This way. Let's make it darker on the right. Now we need to remove selection, activate it again, tap inside the next building, adjust selection threshold if needed, then activate it again, use the brush, and pick the color from the wall. Here we can darken it on both sides. Let's deselect it. I will fix this shape. It got broken for some reason. Now I went to the previous layer that we were working on. I'm tapping on this wall. Let me switch back to gouache paint and start darkening. Like this. Now we can do the same on the roof. Let's tap on it to select. We can select it together with the pattern. Then select the color from it. And darken it like this. Let's deselect this one too. Pick the color from the wall of the next building. Then tap on it. And darken it on the right. I'm applying very low pressure to get a subtle nice texture, but we can make it darker on the side, very close to the edge. Deselecting and picking the color from the roof. Let's now tap on it and add the texture here as well. We can now go to the next building, pick the blue color right away, then tap on the wall and shade it too. This is what we will get. We can deselect it all now, then add another layer and set it to soft light, so we can add some extra shadows using black color. Add incliner. The layer is still set to reference, so we can tap again on the wall. Set the size to 6% and draw a shadow that will go like this. We can now paint it quickly. Let me finish it. And then we can adjust the layer. Let's drag it upper, so it also covers the windows, and then lower the opacity. Let's set it to 43%, so it's not so dark. Now we can deselect it and do the same on the next building. That's on the right. Let's tap on the wall, then on the brush, and use the same black color. Draw a shadow here too. Make a line with a small angle. Now this is also ready. I think we can adjust the opacity even more. I lowered it to 38%. Now this row of buildings is complete. We can start working on the next one. Before that, let's group all the layers, create a new layer, and place it under the group, so we can draw more buildings. To continue working and be able to fill the shapes, let's remove reference feature from this layer. Now we can close the group. Select color number 6 from the palette and continue using incliner. I will just lower the brush size a little and start from the left side. Let's make a rectangle like this. Match it with the left side of the canvas. Also close it at the bottom and then fill. For the next one, we can select color number 11. Just draw a bigger rectangle like this. Match it with the side, and then draw another line on the right. Let's also connect it with an angle. Finish the outline and drag the color. Let's pick color number 21. Make the size slightly bigger. And draw a thick line like this, on top. Then another one at some distance, to divide this building into a few floors. Let's draw a few more lines. Somewhere here. And draw the next building. This time can be with color number 5. Let's draw a line on the right. Then horizontally. Also connect it. And drag the color. We can now switch to color 27 and add some details right away, like a rectangle here on top. Let's also close it, start filling, and lower the color draw threshold. Then we can add a few more horizontal lines, lower the size, draw this way, then add another one, and the last one somewhere here. Let's increase it and draw a thicker one. After that, lower it again, like to 4%, and draw vertically this way. We will add windows later. Now let's create another shape. I will pick this light color, adjust the size, and draw another simple shape. Let's now close it. Also fill it. Then select a darker one and draw a line on the left. Let's fill the shape now. I will make a few adjustments. And after that, draw on the right. Let's outline it on the right side. Also close it and fill. Maybe let's paint it at the bottom like this. I'll just outline the rectangle and fill it. Then using color number 7, we can draw a darker shape on top. Let's do it manually like this. And then add a few more lines. Then make the size slightly bigger and add a thicker line right here. Let's also keep it for now and add a couple more buildings. On the right, let's use color number 11 here. Also make a rectangle first. It can have 2 lines on top. And then just go down vertically. Let's fill it like this. Maybe add these details on the right side too. And to add some perspective, let's pick color 28. We first need to make a line with an angle, then go down, connect it like this, and drag the color. In this gap, we can draw the last building with color 26. I will add a line on top, then close it to the side of the canvas and fill. We got all the shapes, and now we can start adding the details. First on this one on the left. Let's apply color number 8. Then create a new layer, clip it, and we can even set this one as reference. So we can now go to selection, use it in automatic, tap, and slide to adjust selection threshold. So now if we start making strokes like this, it will be applied only on the slide color. So we can draw this part of the roof. We can now select color number 12 and draw a smaller rectangle at the bottom, under the dark shape. Now let's switch to color 22 and draw a line on the side. We can now paint inside it, making the size bigger here. Then let's lower it again. I'll fix this corner and after that draw another cropped triangle, somewhere here. Let's match it with this rectangle and then paint. Now we need to select color number 10 and draw on the sides from these triangles. On the left side and then on the right. Just like this. Let's also draw a line on the right side from this triangle. Maybe make it wider and then match it with a light color. I'll lower the size to work on the corner and then deselect. Let me grab this blue color, go back to the base layer and adjust these gaps. I just don't like them. They appeared while filling. I will also fix these colors, so I'm just picking them with my finger and painting on top. Now it looks great. The roof is ready. We can add some windows. For that, let's select color 29, make the size slightly bigger, go to the layer with the roof and just draw a few rectangles. The first one, then another one under it, and one more. Let's close it at the lower side and then draw on the right, like this. I'm trying to avoid this perfection, so they can have different sizes and angles. We can now fill them. Let's remove reference feature first, then fill one of the shapes and continue filling by tapping. These shapes are ready. We can alpha lock the layer to add some texture. Let's use color 20 and gouache brush. We can add it on the left side of each shape, diagonally. This way they will look a little bit highlighted on the left and also get some texture. Let's now tap and hold to go back to the previous color that was our base, and on the color disc, make it darker. We can also try to change the hue to make it look a little bit more greenish. The layer is alpha locked, so we can apply it on the right side of each window. Also make strokes diagonally. Now this is ready. We can go to the next building. Let's grab this dark color from the lines, then unlock the layer to be able to draw, and switch back to liner. Let's make the size very low, between 1 and 2%, and start drawing tiny window frames. Make a rectangle and then divide it into 3 squares. Let's draw a similar shape on the right. Also draw vertically inside it, and then draw another one the same way. Here we can draw 2 individual squares for more windows. Then add another triple. And draw a couple more. We have a bigger space here, so let's add something like this. I will draw one square, then 3 in a row, and then 3 more. Let's add another 3 on this side. One more here, then another one, and one more close to the edge. Here we can draw this way. Just make sure to close it so we can fill it later. We can draw another one here behind the roof, and the last one here in the empty space. I also connected it, and now we can start filling them. Let's open the color palette and pick color number 1. Let's just draw it inside one of the shapes, and after that tap in some of the squares. We can paint approximately half of them, like this. Let's now change the color into number 5, which is more yellow. Let's drag it in one of the shapes. Then click Continue Filling and finish tapping in the remaining squares. Now these windows are ready. We can deselect it, set this layer as reference, create another one above it, and use color 26. Let's tap on the wall to get it selected. And if it selected the building on the right, we need to adjust selection threshold, make it lower, then go back to selection again, and tap. Now it's selected properly. Let's draw an arc somewhere here, then a line going down, like this, and then on the right. I just want to introduce one more color here on this building. It's not a shadow or anything, it's just the color. We can now deselect it. After that, select brown color. We can stay on the same layer and add the shadows under the lines. Let's draw the first one here, then one more on the next one, here as well, and the last one. Now this building is totally ready. We can start working on this yellow shape. Let's continue using the same color. Go to the layer where we have the windows. Set the size to 1 or 2%. And draw rectangles. Like this. Let's add 2 of them on each floor. On this one. 2 more here. Make sure to connect all the corners, because later we will fill them. Let's add 2 more here. Maybe draw some horizontal lines in some of them, for mosquito net. Let's pick some color for the glass, like 28. Also, we need to remove reference first, Then go back to this layer and start filling. If you click continue filling, we can just tap. We can also apply color 26 in some of the rectangles. And even make one of them darker, like color number 12. Alright, the windows are ready. Let's open the color palette and pick color number 14. We can also go to layer number 11 and add vertical lines on the sides from the windows. Try not to intersect the light lines. For that we can lower the brush size and continue going down, like this. Let's also do it on the right side. Two more lines. Now we can connect them on top and at the bottom. Just like this. Let's move down. Also close these shapes. And one more here. Let's now start dragging the color inside and then continue filling. I forgot to close that shape, so I will do it later. Let me now close it and fill. Okay. I will just fix these light lines. So let's go to layer 10 and create another one. So the lines will go outside, because this layer is not clipped. Now it looks like the building is on the front. Let's work on the next one. I'll pick this brown to red color. Make the size small at 1% and add window frames here too. Let's go back to layer number 10. Use incliner and draw 5 rectangles. Make sure to connect all the corners, so later we can fill them. This one can be smaller. And now we can draw 5 more on the next floor. Last one here. And now we can do the same in this space. Now the shapes are ready. Let's select color number 3 and drag it into one of the shapes. Then click continue filling and tap in some of them. Now let's switch to color number 2 and fill the rest, also by tapping. This building is ready. Let's go to the next one. Select color 22 and using the same brush but with a bigger size, make horizontal strokes on the roof to add these details. We can also paint it like this. And now we can draw windows here as well. First create the frames. I will select color number 9, set the brush size to 1% and start drawing rectangles. Here we can draw 3. Now let's draw more, a little lower. also connect them, and we can add horizontal lines in the middle for mosquito nets. Just in some of them. Let's draw the last one here. I will add a line inside, and now we can start filling them with color number 14. Let's click Continue Filling and finish by tapping, like this. Now we can alpha lock the layer to add some texture. For that we can select color number 5 and gouache brush. Since the frames are on the same layer, we can use selection to pick only yellow color just by tapping inside the frames. Now let's tap on the brush, change the brush size and start making strokes diagonally in every window. So it will go in the right corner, at the bottom. It will get a little bit textured and match with our style. Let's add a few more strokes with a smaller size. And then we can deselect. Let's now pick color number 7 to draw on the right side, that is in shadow. For that we need to unlock the layer and using our drawing brush, first draw a big rectangle that goes with an angle like this. Let's connect it on the other side and then fill. Now we can use the eraser to separate it into a few windows. First making vertical strokes, this way, and then a horizontal one. Now we can just copy this layer, first by selecting it like this, then copy and paste, and now we can drag it down. Let's now duplicate this layer and drag it more down. To change the shape, we can switch to Distort and do the same with the previous one. So it matches with the walls, because they are not straight. Like this. Now when these are ready, we can merge the layers. Select this brown color and work on the next building. First also darken the roof. I'm making horizontal strokes, and then with color 21, we can add a shadow here, just with a line. Let's lower the brush size to draw the frames. They can go like this. Vertically down. We can draw another rectangle here. Then pick color number 3 and drag it into the shapes. After that, just tap. This is also done. In the next step, we can add the shadows and textures. We need to set this layer as reference, then go to the new one that we just created, set it to multiply, and use gouache brush. We just need to pick the colors from the building, use automatic selection, and start tapping. Then tap on the brush to activate it, adjust the size, and make a subtle stroke on the right side like this. Then deselect it, pick the color from this building, go back to selection, tap on it, and apply texture here too. Just a tiny bit. Now let's do the same on this one. I'll tap on it and then draw. Let's now remove reference feature, go back to the layer with the windows, alpha lock it, and we can even tap inside the squares to add some texture here too. Let's apply color number 2 and use grungy paint. Set the size to around 3% and start drawing from the corner going up, diagonally. Once it is done, we can deselect. Let's now group all the layers for these buildings and create a new one between the groups, so we can add some more details. Let's pick color 21, this lighting brush, set the size to 9%, tap on the canvas, and then we can move it. Also adjust the size. Let's place it this way, between the buildings. And then if we alpha lock the layer, we can select some light color like 27, switch to incliner. We can paint this part at the bottom. We will get this. Let's now add another layer, pick color 18, together with grungy paint, so we can add some greenery, like a tree here. The size can be at around 3%. Let's make some circular strokes and go to the right, just like this. Now we can add another layer, clip it, and set it to color dodge. So even if we use the same color, it'll get lighter like this. We just need to tap on top. Let's merge the layers and adjust the colors a little. Let's make it slightly darker and lower the saturation as well, to get this. Here on the right side, we can draw a water tank. So let's add a new layer, pick color 21, and using basic incliner, first draw a triangle, somewhere here. Let's make it wide like this, then connect it and fill. After that, switch to color 16 and draw 2 lines on the sides that will go down. Let's also connect them at the bottom. Make a line on top like this and fill the shape. We can tap and hold here to go back to the previous color and add horizontal lines inside. Let's draw another one and make it wider at the bottom. Let's now lower the size again to 2% and draw these legs. Also add a couple more lines crisscross. Let's scale it a little bit and move to the side so it doesn't match with the window. Now let's alpha lock the layer, switch to grungy paint, lower the opacity and shade it on the right. Just make a few subtle strokes with a small size. We will get this in the end. Now we just need to duplicate the layer and move it to the left. Let's put it on this building on the roof. Adjust the size and shape. I'll put it here. And then adjust the color. Before that we need to sharpen it, because it got a little blurry. Now let's activate hue saturation brightness and set hue to 54% to make it more brownish. Now let's pick this brown color from the wall so we can add another cute detail, like a pipe on this roof. It can look like a rectangle with a couple smaller shapes, like this. Alright, let's keep it and add some more greenery in front of all layers. I created another layer, and using color number 19, we can apply grungy paint brush. Set it to maximum opacity, and the size can be at around 7%. Let's just make strokes like this between the two buildings. Go a little to the right. Now we can alpha lock the layer to add a highlight on it with color 18. Just tap on top a few times, mostly on the left. Let's go to transformation and adjust the shape. Then sharpen it to bring back the texture. This is also ready. We can add some more greenery behind these buildings. So let's keep the same color and add a layer here under the group. Using the same grungy paint brush, let's draw a shape of the tree, like this. Let's draw another one between these two buildings. Go upper and to the right, this way. When the shapes are ready, we can apply a highlight. For that I added a new layer, clipped it, and set it to color dodge. Let's use the same color and tap on top. Just a little. And we can keep these colors. Let's switch to color 21. Also basic ink liner. We can merge these two layers, then create another one. And just draw a cute antenna on this roof. Just make one line, then a couple more, maybe this way, and draw shorter ones with different angles. You can go ahead and add more details in your own way. I will just add another layer and drag it down, so we can draw the last row of buildings on the background. There is a city blocks brush from my urban set that I adjusted a little. First we can use color number 6. Set the size to around 20% and start making random strokes going horizontally. Then select color 20 and do it more. You can undo and redo it until you like the result, and even transform it. Let's assume these buildings are not so far from the previous row, so the size doesn't have to change a lot. And maybe they are located on top of a hill, so they will look even higher. We can switch to freeform transformation, move it, and add more buildings. Switch in between two colors. I'll crop one of them. Then duplicate the layer. Make the lower one darker to 36%. Now let's go to motion blur and slide diagonally like this. I'll stop at 40%. We need to duplicate this layer multiple times, then merge, duplicate again, until we get sharp edges. I already showed this trick in some other tutorial. In the end, we just need to match it with the shapes on the front. And some of the buildings will get perspective. I'll make it a little sharper Now perfect. Let's select both layers and apply distortion, so they don't go perfectly straight. So we got the silhouettes done. In the next steps, I'll be creating new layer, clipping, and adding various details and windows, exactly in the same way as we did in the first part of the video. Since the block brush that we used is unpredictable, the silhouettes we get will look different. So I will speed up this part of the tutorial, and you can decorate your buildings at your own pace. You can draw windows and other elements in different architectural styles, create apartment or corporate windows, and different kinds of roofs. Also in the tutorial brush set, you will find a couple of window brushes that you can use. I copied these brushes from my urban set. If you have the full version, you can try the other window brushes as well. I will draw some windows with frames and some with shutters. You can use the colors from the color palette. If they are too dark, you can soften them using the color disc. Don't forget to add some elements above the buildings, such as ladders, antennas, or greenery. I already can't wait to see what you come up with. If you share your finished version on Instagram, please tag me in your post so I can see it. You can also share it on my Facebook group that's called All Things Procreate with TatyWorks. I check everyone's posts there too. Drawing this illustration reminds me of the view I had from my room in Cannes, French Riviera. I went there for the TV Expo and film festivals, which were amazing experiences. It was unusual for me to see so many buildings erected side by side and close to each other. They look like they're in a great harmony. Just so beautiful. Anyway, I will continue until I finish the last building. I finished the last building here, but I'd like to add the last one somewhere here, just to introduce a darker spot between the two rows. Previously I merged the layers for the buildings, and now we can create one more layer above this one. Select color 17. Let's draw a vertical line, then another one on the side. Connect them, close the shape at the bottom, and then fill. Now let's draw a triangle for the roof. Also connect it, drag the color, and fix if needed. We can use now color number 10 and add some curves on top like this. Then draw a line underneath and just paint inside. On the right side it needs to be darker, so we can select color 15. I will draw the line first. It can go outside, then add more curves on top, and paint. Let's now lower the size. Pick color 21. Let's draw a vertical line, and then a few more, to get this cute antenna shape. We can also add some windows. I'll increase the size a little and draw a couple of rectangles that go horizontally. Now let's paint inside these rectangles. I'll do it manually. Then we can pick the color from the roof and draw these lines above. I will switch back to dark color, add a thin line here on the right, let it go outside, and then down, like this. Let's now create a layer above. Clip it. Then we can select this building automatically. Go back here, change the layers mode to multiply, Select this brown from the wall and add the texture using gouache brush. We just need to paint a little on the right. Now we can add another layer above, set it to soft light, and select black from the disk. Switching back to liner, let's remove selection, so it will also go above the windows. Let's first draw under the roof, and then add 2 more lines. Let's close them, and after that fill. It looks too dark, so we need to lower the opacity to around 50% or a little lower. We can also put a shadow on this building, so let's find the layer, create another one above it, set it to soft light, and just do the same. Let's first draw a line right under the roof, then it will go down on the side, and then to the right with a small angle. We also need to close it, and then fill. Now the shadow is also ready. I will change the color here into white, just to make it more visible. And maybe even add a highlight on this peak. Now it looks better. To draw the clouds, let's create a layer above the sky and select color number 3. Go to airbrushing and select medium hard airbrush. I will increase the size to around 50-something% and start making circles. Let me remove the background to see it better. We have this space on the left side, so let's use it at maximum. Here we can place the biggest cloud. Just create a shape like this. I'm changing the brush size. Now we can draw on the right. Let it go down a little between these two buildings, and you can create the shapes according to the result that you got with the buildings, so it looks organic. Let's just finish it at the lower side, and here I will draw another one. Match it to the side of the building. Some circles can be bigger like this, and then it will go to the right. Okay, I like these shapes, so I will bring back the background, create a layer above the clouds, clip it, and select color number 4 for the highlights. Let's select clouds brush and start drawing on the left side. The size can be at around 30% on this big cloud. While making the strokes, you can change the tilt and pressure you apply on the pencil to get nice shapes. Let's also apply it on the left side of this cloud and go a little down. Then the last one. Just do it in a random way. To add the final highlight, let's select white. For that I will go to the color disk and double tap on the light area. So now let's add these highlights, following the shape of the clouds. On the left. Let's also do it on this one. This small one here. I'm also changing the tilt and the pressure. And the last cloud here. Now we need to smudge it using grunge brush. Let's start with the base layer first. And make horizontal strokes at the lower side, on each cloud. We can stretch it to the sides. Also this one. And then do the same on the next layer, where we have the highlights. We can adjust the brush size. And try moving in different directions. Here we can lower the size and move it up and down. Here I will just do it a little bit. Then the last one. And the clouds are ready now. Let's also draw the sun on a new layer right above the sky. We can use color number 5 and medium hard air brush. Just draw a circle behind this cloud. Then we can alpha lock the layer to add a highlight here too, with color 6. Let's use this grungy paint and just draw inside, mostly on top. Now we create a layer under it. Select color number 1. Let's lower the opacity and make a circular stroke around the sun. It is now ready. In the end we can draw the birds. Let's now create a layer above the clouds to draw some simple birds. For that we can use color 29 and later darken it. There is this stipple brush. The size can be set around 22%. And we can draw it with one stroke. Now let's adjust brightness. Just lower it a little bit. After that go to transformation and use distortion. Let's drag it diagonally this way. So these dots will turn into ovals. And now after this final step, our cute cartoon city illustration is complete. I hope this tutorial was helpful. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to ask me in the comments. I'll be very happy to reply. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.